Hey, everybody out there in Facebook and YouTube land, how you doing today? Today we have this great wholesaler, investor, all around great person. Um, Let me turn this. There we go. I have the pleasure of actually bringing him on here. And this is actually a very special one for me because he actually helped me get my first deal. So I'm very happy about this. Todd Chunn, he is the TC Deals of Detroit, wholesaling all the time. I tell you, everybody in the Detroit area knows who TC Deals is, who Todd Chunn is. So without further ado, let me bring Todd on here. Todd, how you doing today?
What's up, brother? Thanks for
Not
having me.
much. Awesome, man. So I'm really excited to have you on here. As I just said, I did my first deal with you when I had one of my business partners. Obviously, we know how that went, but but it was one of the good things that came out of it was working with you. And I really cannot say enough about how much you've helped me and you've changed the way I probably would have done a lot more deals. It'd take me a lot longer to do it, but hey, that's what JVing's about, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Is that the one that's right off the Davidson? There's a big park there, Russell
Uh,
Woods.
yep, yeah, on
Yeah,
Waverly.
well, yeah, two
Yeah,
family. Yeah, I
yep,
remember
it
that
was
one.
two
Yep,
family.
yep. Every time I
So,
drive by it. Yeah.
yeah, and so it was that one there was the first. The great thing is you went with me to walk it and to help lock it up as well. So I can't thank you enough for it because that got me in it and got me hooked. So um, and it also got me thinking like how talking with people and things like that. So little nuggets and things like that. So I can't thank you enough on that.
Nice.
So enough about that. I'm sure everybody else wants to know, like, how did you get started in this? First off, so for the people who don't know who you are, let's do a quick overview of who you are, what you do, just very high level.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so my name's Todd Chunn. Um, I am a wholesaler. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I've done fix and flips. I had a property management company. All of the investing side of things, I've been doing for 6 years. Um, 6 years ago, I didn't even know what wholesaling was. And I worked with, but I've been in the business. I've been an agent since 2012, I believe it is. And I worked with a company for 22 years, 23 years. And it was a mortgage company. I was the vice
Hmm.
president, and they owned a lot of rentals in Detroit. And we were buying houses at the auction and short sales, things like
Yep.
that. So, but I did not know there was other investors out there like there is. I thought we
Hmm.
were the smartest, or the person I worked for was the smartest.
Right.
And we were the only ones that were doing what we were doing. But man, there's thousands of us out here, which is great. So, but
Oh
that's how
yeah.
I got started. I heard a commercial. Fan Merrill from Fortune Builders ran a commercial. I heard, kept hearing it, and it said, I'm coming to Detroit. I'm going to teach you how to flip houses and things like that.
Hmm.
So I went to one of those meetings it was on a Wednesday, and then they got me to pay $200, and I went on the weekend thing. And the first day I was there, they talked about wholesaling, and I couldn't believe it. It sounded too good to be true.
Right.
So anyway, I started. They told Van Merrill, it cost
Hmm.
20, 30,000 to sign up for them. I did not sign up for them, but they told us to go to meetups. So I went to
Hmm.
Renegades, and I went, and I was nervous. I was scared. I was shaking, and but I got to meet some people and found out what wholesaling is. And by the next 3 months after that, I quit my job of 20 something years and started doing this on my own. So
After only 3 months?
3 months of finding out what wholesaling was about. Yeah.
Wow. So that is crazy. I will say that it's, after only 3 months, like I'm still working my job and I can't imagine me quitting
Right.
at the
I
moment.
don't, that's not what you should do.
Yeah.
Um, I just seen, you remember the mortgage business, I had 25 employees, the mortgage, everything crashed. I fired 25 employees. And then we started doing other things, buying short sales. And I was licensed in 9 states to do reverse mortgages, worked that business for a while. And I just
Yep.
knew the writing on the wall was, I wasn't going to be there much longer,
Gotcha.
or I wasn't making, when my income got cut 50 grand a year, they took away my car. They had to cut corners, which is the
Yep.
best thing that ever happened to me. At the time it wasn't, but now
Hmm.
looking back, I wouldn't be here right now. So, um, and that's why I just said, look, I knew Detroit then, because in the mortgage business, when before I would run 10 appointments a day going to houses writing mortgages. And I knew every street because I would run one appointment. I was there 30, 40 minutes. I would go to
Hmm.
the next one. I did that for years. All I did
Hmm.
was drive house to house to house to house to house selling.
Right.
That's where I learned how to talk to people, how to, do everything. And we're writing mortgages like none other. So,
Hmm.
um, and I knew Detroit, so I knew and I love Detroit. So that's
We all
that's
love Detroit, so that's really awesome. And I mean, I think because you have this special ability to actually know what Detroit's about, how to comp it, how to price it properly, things like that. I think that's what gave you the edge over everybody else. You know,
yeah.
um, so that's awesome. Now that's how you got started. Okay.
Hmm.
And if you were to look back at, back when you got started and, you know, and knowing what you know now, what would you tell your old self?
A lot of things. Um, you know what? And you probably could agree, but I would
Yep.
not. There's no need for a partner.
Right.
Okay, not in the beginning.
Yeah.
No need for a partner. No need to what I mean, me and my partner were flipping 10, 12 houses at once.
Hmm.
Way too much. Way too much. If you're gonna do a flip one, maybe two at a time, depending on your experience level. That's it. Wholesale by yourself. Um, and that's what I would do. I was trying to do a little bit of everything, and it
Yeah.
wasn't the way I should have went. So
Yeah, most definitely. I completely agree. My whole ask is if you do want to partner up with people, just do JVs,
yeah,
and that way you can do it a deal by deal basis.
yeah,
Um,
that's exactly. I'm talking
yeah.
about if you have, if you have a partner all the time,
Yep.
you got to support two households. So
Yes. 100%. So it's got a couple questions coming in real quick. This one is actually from Tracy Belinda, and she said, I'm new to all this. I see single family houses I'm interested in as a realtor." And then, she actually continued on and said she's interested in buying houses within 25 to 50K, but I know they're out there for much less. How do I tap into the real information? So,
yeah,
um, yeah, you want to go ahead and answer that?
yeah, I guess. Um, does she have $25,000 to $50,000 to buy a house? Is that what she's saying there?
I believe that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I interpret it.
Yeah,
So
so it just I guess it's gonna what does she want to do? Does she is this a house she's gonna live in? Is it a rental? I want to buy a house and hold, rehab eventually.
yeah,
Gotcha. So
yep,
you want a
yep,
rental property. So if I had
yeah,
$50,000, usually you're gonna have to fix up the property. Your money,
hmm,
hopefully you could refinance it and things like that, so you can pull your money back out. I would rather buy a house on seller financing.
hmm,
You get a house for 25,000. It needs, let's say, 15 grand worth of work, but you do it on terms where you give them, 5 grand down. You pay them
hmm.
300 a month for 5 years, and then you pay it off. So you're paying it back that way. That way you can maybe do two or three of those instead of one. Something like that.
Yeah, and she said that she lives in Florida as well. So something like that, you're gonna need to get, a property management company involved, and maybe either the property management company help do the rehab, or uh, you need to get a contractor first that will do the rehab. So do your due diligence on that. So many people have been burned.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, so if you have 50,000, you live in Florida and you want to invest in a rental property, yeah, you got to get that's the number one thing right there is to get a good team here, a property
Mhm.
manager. You had someone, Randy, I
Yep.
don't I loved everything he had to say, NHL properties.
Yes.
I would vet a few different people and they could point
Mhm.
you and take care of you, point you in the right directions. Now, 50,000, you'll probably be able to buy one property, so you got
Yep.
to look at the numbers at the end of the day and see if it makes sense to you.
Yeah, and for that price point, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're probably looking inside Detroit, or if you are in the suburbs, then you'd have to do some sort of seller finance to get to that price point. So, like a land contract or something like that.
Or you could
So,
lend me the 50,000 every month and I could pay you a lot of money back. I could use it two or three times in a month and you can
exactly.
make $3,000, $4,000 a month and
Because
there's
there
no
you go,
risk.
become a private lender.
There's
That
no
that
risk. If you're set up with the right guy, I could do wholesale deals with that. Let's say I did
Yep.
one a month. You'll make
Yeah.
more money than you would make in rent. The house is the collateral. And then I do usually, and then you get your money back and you make money and then you do it again next month. And usually I could
Mhm.
use it maybe once or twice a month. So you'll make a lot more money with a small amount of money like that. I would suggest that would be the best way to you employ that money so you can make money.
Yeah, most definitely. She said she's looking near Dearborn or 8 Mile as well.
Yeah.
So that's um that's interesting. If you can find one out there, great. The best thing to do is to get on, wholesalers, get on their mailing list, their email blast, things like that, and get to know them. So people like Todd Chunn, people like me, people who get deals all the time in those areas. By all means, reach out to them and constantly ask them, "Hey, you got any deals? You got any deals?" Or Todd will probably just give you the link to his inventory list. So you
Yeah.
know. So with that being said, I think it's being a long distance investor. You've dealt with a lot of long distance investors before, so how do you think they get started as far as like, do they come to you, or do they come to you after a bad, say, breakup with somebody else, uh,
Yeah.
so what are the horror stories that you've seen?
Yeah. Or the horse. Yeah. I see a lot of people that are trying to get out of Detroit because they didn't have the right team. Just like you said earlier, that is
Hmm.
the most important thing. If you're going to be, no matter if you buy a great house in Detroit, you get a great deal. If you have the wrong people not managing it or doing the repairs, not finding the right renters, you're going to lose. So if you got to make sure you got to vet it. You got to vet
Yes.
everybody, have the right team, and you could do well in Detroit, you know. And when you
Hmm.
said 8 Mile to Dearborn, you probably want to stay like in Warrendale, which is Detroit but close to Dearborn, or
Yep.
8 Mile is a good spot too. So those are good areas. Um, but I would say, I'm telling you, I would not have said this a year ago, but now I would think that um, setting up, it don't have to be me or Randy,
Yeah. Yeah.
someone where you know, like if I get a wholesale deal and I want to buy it and then turn around and sell it, I could use that money to buy it so I could control it. And that
Hmm.
way I could get it cheaper because I could close faster. I could
Hmm.
sell it on the MLS or I could sell it for more money. And that way you're going to make money and I'm going to make money, or whoever you use. So just something to think about, because the object
Exactly.
is, how can you take 50 grand and make $1,000 monthly or more every month? It's a pretty good return. Better
Yeah.
than any
Most.
other rental.
Oh, most definitely. And if anybody's out there who does want to be a private money lender or anything like that, you can also hit me up, hit Todd up. We're always looking for private money lenders. I always come across deals where either sometimes I have to double close on them, or I may want to take them down myself. And, you earn a good interest rate on that. So, um, it is what it is. And then, Sadhan, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name, said, could you please explain again the 50K loan to you with collateral investment?
Yeah, so the house that you lend on, like, I'll give you an example, 123 Banana Street that I have for 10 grand. I need to buy it. So um, you use that, I buy it for 10 grand, use your money for the 10 grand, and then I
Hmm.
turn around and sell it. And then at the end of the day, you might make $1,000 on only lending out 10 grand. On 50,000, you might make 1,500 total. Um,
Right.
I could go over those terms with you. Every deal, we do have a minimum. So if it's only 10 grand, you're going to make more on the lower amounts. The other ones you
Hmm.
might make 2% plus interest and things like that. So
Right.
um, that's how it works. And the house
Hmm.
is the collateral, so you don't have to worry about anything. The house is the collateral, and I'm only doing those deals where I know it is. uh if it's an iffy type deal, I'm gonna wholesale it. I'm not gonna borrow anybody's money to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do a straight wholesale, you know.
Hmm.
But if it's a really good deal, I got one in Oxford right now that's a four
Hmm.
family that I'm getting, um for it's a $300,000 property. I'm getting it for like 70 grand,
Hmm.
and it's occupied. It's nice. So I'm just gonna buy it. I'm using someone's money. We're gonna buy it. I'm gonna control it. I'm gonna own it.
Hmm.
And whoever loans me the money hopes I don't pay it back. But I'm gonna, you know, I'm just
Yep.
then I'm gonna sell it.
Oh,
So
most definitely. So, and that's the thing. It's, if you are looking at private money or anything like that, like, yes, there's a good percentage rate, but, what he's talking about is Pace Morby actually calls it gator lending, where it's very short term, you know. So it's still, it's still considered like a hard money or anything like that. But you become a lien holder on that property, so
yeah,
you get like first position, second, depending on how you structure it and what's going on, and depends on the deal.
yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, so we'll keep answering more questions. So keep asking your questions as we go along, and I'm going to keep them relevant to kind of what we're talking about. So from here, you got started and everything, And, I know a couple years ago, that's when we kind of met up and things like that. So what are you doing now to in your business, and like how are you running things now?
Yeah. So eventually, like I said in the beginning, you want to be by yourself so you
Yep.
can learn everything. And eventually you're gonna, I'm not, everyone's different.
Yeah.
I graduated. I got a little team together. I
Hmm.
have 4 people that work with me. 2 VAs from the Philippines,
Hmm.
and then I have 2 local people. Um, and one's my personal assistant, a VA, and the other 3 are on my sales team. They're making phone calls, they're texting, and then I have a sales manager that manages all the leads, manages everybody, and makes sure we get everything done. And my job is to, anytime they get stuck on something, or if they get
Hmm.
a hot lead,
Hmm.
or if there's an appointment that I need to go look at. We work the whole state of Michigan, so of course,
Gotcha.
if it's up north, we're doing everything virtually over the phone. But if it's
Hmm.
local, within an hour, I'm going to be there.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so that's how. And I tell you what, it is a lot of less stress for me. Of course, we just started this path the last few weeks, for
Right.
maybe a month, but I could tell you it's a lot less stress, more deals,
Hmm.
you know, and we're
Well,
getting better every day.
I remember when we first met, like you were doing everything by yourself. You had maybe one VA who called for you, but for the most part, you were doing like running every appointment on your own. Like you barely had time to even pick up the dang phone.
Yeah,
So, and then on top of that, building the relationships with the buyers. Oh my God, don't tell me about that. That's crazy. So, the fact
yeah.
that you built up a system and that you have people working for you and you're doing all this, and then tell me a little bit about what other strategies you're doing now. So before, you're just wholesaling. So what other strategies have you got into besides just wholesaling?
Yeah. Well, we're doing 1, maybe 2 flips at a time. I got
Okay.
one in Commerce Township right now, and
Hmm.
I'm looking to purchase another one in White Lake,
Okay.
or there's a few other places. I'm looking at a
Yeah.
couple right now. So I'm trying to flip 1 or 2 at a time. I like
Hmm.
flipping. I got a partner in my flipping side of things,
Okay.
and she does a lot of the work, or we do it together, but she makes sure things get done. So so it's not a lot of stress on my end. So
Yeah, she does
that's
a lot
good.
of management
Project
side.
managing, I do a
Yep.
teeny, she does more than me. And,
Yep.
we work well together. And I own a dumpster company. So I have 15 dumpsters. I have a
Hmm.
driver, full-time driver. He's been out for a week. So I've been driving every day, right, lately.
Yeah.
I delivered 3 dumpsters today. Start at, get up at 5 and out the door by 5:30 and start
Yep.
moving, right? So, and I got a couple rental properties, things like that, but the wholesaling is my
Hmm.
main gig, if you want to say,
Oh, most definitely. So, so do you have any rentals at the moment as well?
I have 2 rental properties right now.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And do you plan on getting more?
Yeah, I could say I had a bunch of rental properties with my partner prior. We had
Hmm.
almost 20. I don't even remember. But
Okay.
when we separated, he got the rentals, which was fine with me. I was happy to do so.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I'm only going to buy rentals and seller financing if it's a great deal.
Gotcha.
If it's a great
Yep.
deal and it's pretty much free, let's take it. A free deal.
Yep.
I'm going to keep it. So.
But everyone says, why would somebody give you their house when they can sell it to somebody else? Everyone has their own reasons. Everyone has their own things. We're not here to jip people out of their equity or jip people out of their house or con people or what would you say to people who say all that?
You know what? Just like they say, it's speed and convenience. If they wanted
Yep.
to sell it for more money and they wanted to fix it and do this and do that, but a lot of times they're done with it. There's a
Hmm.
lot of reasons. We're there to solve a problem,
Yep.
and that's what our job is. I solve a lot of problems, and I don't make a nickel. I help people
Hmm.
save their houses. I help people do something else with it, and I don't make any money. And then
Hmm.
there's other ones that I buy cheap because that's what
Yep.
it worked out well for them, and the house needed a lot of work and things like that, and I'm able to sell it to someone else, and they get to make money. So
Right.
you know,
So, yeah, so kind of related to the rental properties, Tracy from the Florida actually had a question about, I'd like to know about the buy and hold, not flip. Do you think the market will increase within 5 years? I mean, no one has a crystal ball, obviously. I'm thinking about improvements going in Detroit or Metro. Any thoughts?
well, if you're looking to buy and hold, you what do you
Hmm.
you're going to buy it cheaper now. Things a year ago, 2 years ago were more expensive. So now you could buy it at the downside and keep it as a buy and hold. In Detroit, you're really not going to get the equity play like you
Right.
would every other places. So
Hmm.
you got to be mindful that if you want to refinance and do a burr and get your money back, a
Hmm.
lot of banks won't do loans unless it's 75,000 or more. And a lot of Detroit houses or neighborhoods are not going to appraise for that, especially now with the market shifting, you know. So
Hmm.
it all just depends on like your strategy. If you're looking for the cash flow and you're
Hmm.
going to keep it for years, that is perfect. Detroit would be perfect. If you don't have to buy a great block, you buy an average block, a nice house, it's
Yep.
clean. You get a Section 8 tenant, you could get $1,200-$1,300 a month now in a 3 bedroom and a average, slightly below average area that you might
Oh
be all
yeah.
in at $30,000 or $40,000. So um,
Hmm.
yeah, so that's my take on the rentals coming. This is the perfect time if you're a buy and hold investor.
I 100% agree with you on that. Where the best way to be is if you can get into a seller finance for as low as possible, and kind of go from there. Now, Jessica um, Caballo, and I butchered that
Corbello,
last name.
I know her,
Cabello,
Jessica
yeah,
Corbello.
yep. And so she asked, "Do you not like rentals though? Is it too much to deal with the market the way it is? Do you think acquiring rentals in the next year is a good idea?" I think we kind of answered half of that, but if you want to continue.
you know, Not that I don't like rentals. You got to have a good property manager. That's
Hmm.
all. That's the number one. I mean, you can manage it yourself, but there's only so much time in a day.
Oh,
10, it's
100%.
like $100 or 1,220 bucks a month for a property manager to manage
Yep.
that property. You just got to manage them. So no, I mean, if you get a good enough, why not have 10 rentals that are making you $4,000, $5,000 a month is not too shabby.
Yep.
But
So yeah, most definitely. And then Larry Shepard said, with your owner financing properties, what's your strategy when the balloon is due?
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, some of them you're going to keep there's not going to be a balloon, but
Hmm.
the strategy is you got to refinance it prior to that balloon is becoming due. You got to sketch
Yep.
it. So if you have a 4-year balloon, um, and you're keeping it yourself, you got to get it fixed up. You got to get it rented. You got to get your credit in order or
Hmm.
whatnot within 2 or 3 years, so you could go ahead and refinance it and pay them off. Get you a nice loan that makes sense, or sell it, or sell it.
Yes. Yep. 100%. So, and that's the thing is you want to make that cash flow as soon as possible. And hopefully by then your payments come down, and as long as you negotiate it up front, a decent rate, and you're cash flowing well, then I think that's a good strategy. And hopefully by then the interest rates have come down enough where you can, refinance it out. So that's kind of my take on that. So, but I would not do anything for less than 5 years at this moment. So, um, at least for a seller finance, anyways. Um, is that kind of the minimum terms that you usually go for a seller finance?
It depends on the deal. I mean, I've done 3 years, 2 years. Sometimes you
Yeah,
do 12 months if you know you're going to fix it and sell it.
yeah.
You just don't want to pay the money to buy it. So
Hmm.
it all depends on the situation.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I try to do
So,
0% interest on all of them.
yeah. How now? That's another question. How do you explain, like, for somebody who's an investor who's savvy, how do you explain the 0% interest? Like, I've tried to explain it where, like, hey, the interest is built into the purchase price. Here's my cash offer, here's my seller finance offer. See that difference? That's kind of your interest, you know. But how would you normally explain it?
Yeah. So if I don't really explain too much. Let's say I got a deal $100,000.
Hmm.
I said, look, for me to buy this house, it's going to be $50,000.
Hmm.
Would you take that? They're going to say no. But if for me to come up to your price, I could pay you over time, and it won't be a long time.
Hmm.
If I could give you 10,000 now, pay you 500 a month, and
Yep.
then let's say in 3 years, what's 500 times 36 months?
Uh,
Oh, come on. It's like 15 grand. It's a little more,
yeah.
but let's say 15,000. So I
Hmm.
just subtract 100 grand I'm buying it for, 10 grand. Now I'm at 90. Now minus
Yep.
15. And I'll say I'll in 3 years, I'll pay you this full balance of
Right.
75,000, whatever that number is.
Right.
Okay. And I said, I'm paying them over time. I didn't mention anything about an interest rate. I'm
Hmm.
not trying to pay interest. I said, no, I'm giving you your price with my
Hmm.
terms, or you give me my price, that I want to buy it for.
Gotcha.
That's it. Say, look, and I might even pay it off sooner.
Yep.
I
100%.
always throw that in there too. So and then you could also tell them, look, we're going to do a performance deed it's going to
Hmm.
be held by an attorney, meaning if I'm ever 30 days late, the house
Hmm.
automatically goes to you. You
Gotcha.
don't have to go to foreclosure. You don't have to take me to
Hmm.
foreclosure. You don't have to call an attorney. You don't have to spend any money.
Yep.
You get the house back. Boom. No
Okay.
one does that. I mean, there's
Right.
people that do it, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not normal
It's
business.
not common.
Yeah.
So, uh, Tracy, again, she was asking about whether it's difficult to deal with the land bank, she's hearing.
Yeah.
Now,
I
I've never
mean,
dealt with them, so you got to give the
yeah.
advice on that.
Yeah. I bought a few land bank houses. I wholesaled some. I know plenty of people that's bought them. It just
Hmm.
depends. But I always look at it this way: land bank, usually the houses that we get, you're getting them cheap,
Hmm.
$1,000, $5,000, something like that. If
Yep.
it's in if it's in a great neighborhood, you're not even going to see it. It
Hmm.
goes to someone else that's you know that knows somebody through land bank.
That's true.
All right. I
Everybody
actually
has
got
a
a
backdoor deal. Everybody
I
has a
actually got
backdoor
a
deal.
I actually got a land bank house I'm wholesaling right now. It's 4,300 out of your pocket, and you can make monthly payments until you pay it off. It's a
Hmm.
you know anyway, if you go to Renegade, I'll have that deal. But
Yeah.
so land bank, you buy a house for 5 grand, and it needs so much work, not a little bit.
Hmm.
It needs 50, 60, 70, $80,000. Why not just take $50,000 and go buy something that's already decent? That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
Um, so it all depends, I guess. But a lot of people make good money with land bank. They buy them cheap and they
Hmm.
just fix it enough so they could get the deed. Because land bank has a deed on there when you buy it called a reverter deed, where it could revert back the land bank if you don't fix it up within 6 months.
Hmm.
Okay. But all you got to do is make sure the outside is clean. You got to make sure you have a microwave, running water, and heat. It doesn't have to be, the walls don't have to be done. It just has to be like that. And then they'll deed it to you. And then they take that house and they'll sell it on the market or something and make money. But
Right.
it's a different business.
Yeah, and I will say this. So money is a pit house, but Tracy put this up here, and plus the back taxes are iffy. Now, one thing about land bank, Tracy, I will say is once you buy it from the land bank, all your back taxes, back water bill, all of that gets forgiven, but you have to file for it, especially for the water bill, by the way. If you don't file for it, saying that you got this from the land bank, it's still going to show up on the account. So keep that in mind. I had that issue before when I was wholesaling the deal. So, um, and so keep that in mind. But at the same point, it's like Todd just said, it does become a money pit. But there is different strategies you can do, and if you know that going in, um, then it could be a good deal for you. It just depends. So now, with all of this going on with the state of the market the way it is, where do you think we are? Where do you think we're going to be in the next few years as far as the real estate market? What do you think the future is? I think we touched on it on a question already, but just kind of full around. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. So, um, you know, regarding wholesaling, if the market is hot or cold, like right now, you just got to buy them cheaper and sell them
Yep,
cheaper. It doesn't change the market. It doesn't change wholesaling. I mean, you got to buy them
exactly.
cheaper. There's more seller financing opportunities, subject to opportunities, things like that. What I think about the market, I think it's going to be a little bit better come spring.
Hmm.
Okay. And I think the summer is going to be decent, not like it was, but decent.
Oh no, yeah,
And
yeah.
then after the elections, I think it's going to get bad again.
Okay,
That's what I think. I have no idea. No reason to
yeah.
think that. It's just my guess from people I listen to and talk to. But who
Hmm.
knows? My guess is as good as your guess. But again,
Yeah.
when the market crashes or the market is bad, it's better. It's better for me, as a wholesaler.
Oh,
you
most
know. And
definitely.
if you're a buy and hold person, it's better for you. If you have cash, it's better for you.
Yeah, I honestly think this market that we're in right now, in today, is a 100% a buy and hold investors dream market. So Yeah. So, the way I see it is that, wholesalers will come out here, you got brand new wholesalers coming out, and they're coming out and they're analyzing, they're doing everything, but they're not taking action. They're saying, "Oh, I need to learn this strategy. I need to learn this strategy. I need to learn that. I need to learn that." My opinion always is take action, learn a strategy, do something, stick to one thing, take action so that you can learn even more and make mistakes, because the more mistakes you make, the better you're going to learn. So, what is your advice out there to new wholesalers getting into this business, uh, that are just they're watching this show, maybe they're watching other people, and uh, they're delaying on taking action because they're like, I think I need to know everything all at once.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're never going to learn. You're never going to have it all at once.
Hmm.
Your first job is to get someone that might want to sell. That's your
Hmm.
first objective. Don't think about finding a buyer, how much it needs, what price to offer them. That's it.
Hmm.
First, you got to do one little step at a time. Find someone that might want to sell, and find it, and then you got to try to solve their problem, and then from there, it's step by step by step by step. Of course, I have a mentoring program where I teach people how
Yes.
to do this. So, but that's
Oh,
not why I wanted to say that. But
yes.
to do it all at once, it's one deal for someone brand new,
Hmm.
that is not really doesn't know real estate a lot. I bet you might do, if you get a deal under contract, it might take you 30 to 45 days before you get paid, you know,
Hmm.
and then you got to keep doing it on other deals. So, but just being around people, maybe get someone to help, call you, Randy, call me, call
Yep.
someone else, and learn that way. I mean, so you don't blow the deal. Nothing's,
Yes.
but, but again, do not count your money till it's in your bank account. Always.
That is 100% true. I will say that. So
Yeah.
I've
Anything
gone
can happen.
through, yeah, anything whatsoever. Um, that's one of the biggest reasons why we build this community, is so that anybody who needs any help, just ask for it. Okay, we'll be happy to give you advice. At least I'm happy to give you advice. Anybody in our groups are happy to give you advice, things like that. Don't get discouraged. Take action, because you'll learn from every single person. Okay, or from every single deal. Sorry, and sometimes, you'll learn what not to do on a deal. That's just how it goes. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, with that being said, you do have a program, you do have a mentorship program, and I think it's been a long time coming, because I think you've needed one so you can focus on it. Um, and so you want to take about 30 seconds to kind of pitch your program real quick.
Yeah, it's like hands-on type
Hmm.
program. Um, we do one, really, we do one, maybe two Zooms. Usually they last an hour or two. If we do
Hmm.
one, it's 2 hours. If we do two, it's usually they're a couple hours at a time. We do a Zoom. I have a private Facebook group where I'm posting how-to videos, how to do a purchase agreement, how to do an assignment agreement.
Hmm.
I give you my purchase agreement, my assignments, my JVs, how to do seller financing, and I work the deals. If you have a deal and you need um, guidance on what is it worth, what should I
Yep.
do, what kind of offers. We got a 3 option letter of intent that we use a lot, where we might do a cash offer, then we might do a couple of seller financing type offers, and we send that out. We do a lot of agent outreach where we're calling people on the MLS and we're driving for dollars. So just name it. And
Hmm.
that's what I'm there for. I'll run appointments. A lot of people that are in my group actually have a 9 to 5, and so I might go and look at a house for them. I might run an appointment,
Mhm.
whatever I got to do to get it done. So we work together,
Got
and
it.
eventually my job is they might want to, I got to fix and flip I'm doing. They're more than welcome to come and look at my flip. I
Mhm.
definitely, we try to do that every quarter. Any rentals, we do a lot of videos, live videos, going to a house. Anytime I walk through a house and I can do a video, I put it on our private Facebook group of that I'm walking through this house and I talk about the house, right?
Yep.
Stuff like that. So I have a ROI sheet where we could figure out what to make an offer on a rental property that we use a ton. So that's it. It's $395 a month. It's month to month, and you
Mhm.
join it. You could not join it. You can, you know, you can quit at any time. There's no, no, year term or anything like that. So
Got it. Yeah, so that's the good thing about your mentorship is, that it is non-committal. You want to do it for a month just to kind of get things going and learn, and then you pick up and go, right? So, but because you're gonna get so much value, you're gonna stay. That's just how it goes. And I think that, like I said in the beginning, it's been a long time coming. I think that you can concentrate. The reason, if somebody gets your services for free, they don't put a value on it. That's kind of how I see it. I'm not to that point yet by any means. I'm happy to JV with anybody and teach anybody that wants to listen, but I'm not to the level as Todd. I will tell you that right off the get go, and I don't care who's listening. So, but I will say this, that it's he will teach you everything that you need to know from A to Z. And if he doesn't know it, he knows somebody who does, you know so that's kind of like my big pitch for you. But I think that you know there's a lot of coaching programs out there that don't do anything for you. They would take your money and want you to watch little videos, and they're hands off. So I think that the fact that you're hands on with everybody is 100% valuable right there.
but
So
you still got to do the work. That's the
yes.
one thing. It's all about the individual. They got to do the
Yep.
work. Can't do it
If
for
you
them. I got to try,
Yeah.
and I got to help them and try to direct them. And but you got to be hungry, and
Yep.
you got to want to do. Some people just doing one deal every quarter will change their life. You know,
Oh yeah.
some people they want to do a deal a month and a deal a week
Hmm.
or two deals a week. So it just depends on where you're at, but you got to start somewhere.
Exactly. So that 100% agree with you. You got to take action. Paralysis analysis is just going to get you stuck. And if you don't start taking action, you're not going to learn anything. So, and that honestly, that goes for wholesaling, that goes for fix and flip, that goes for buying holds, that goes for all of it. I'm going to be honest with you. Whatever strategy you're in, you got to take action in some way or shape or form. So, in order to actually start learning the process, Tracy, I hope you're listening still. That if you want to get into buying holds, I mean, look for the great opportunity and get into a buy and hold opportunity. So don't be afraid to. I hate to say this, but don't be afraid to lose your money. And even though it's you're going to be backed with an investment property and things like that, but don't be afraid to lose that 10,000 or this or that. I'm not here to sit here and tell somebody to lose money, but if you don't make mistakes, you're never going to learn. That's just kind of how it is.
Well,
So
I hopefully in my coaching program I could help you where you won't lose $10,000.
yep. Exactly. So Now, with that being said, so I'm really glad that we got to hear about this and actually talking about all this because, um, and actually somebody said it here, and who was it? Mike Mukhtar said, "Fail forward." So, and
Yep.
100% agree with that. So, and in life you have to do that. So you have to fail. If I didn't fail as much as I did, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I'm sure this you feel the same way, Todd. If you
Yep.
didn't fail as much as you did, you wouldn't be the person you are.
Yeah,
So
I just actually had a subject to deal that we just did, and I did it all wrong. And the seller actually had me by my tail end,
yep.
and it all worked out at the end of the day. But I learned so much from it,
Hmm.
and of what not to do next time around. Okay, so
Yep.
so what I did, I'll just explain it real fast. Is let's say
Yep.
someone's 10 grand behind on their loan. They're about to go to
Hmm.
foreclosure. They're going to foreclosure in 2 days.
Hmm.
I caught the loan up in 2 days, the 10 grand,
Hmm.
and didn't have any documents signed by the seller.
Oh, you didn't have a purchase agreement.
I had a purchase agreement, but what does that mean? I
Yeah.
gave him 10 grand. He's caught up. He don't have to sell me the house if he doesn't want to. Right? He could
Gotcha.
just say, "Oh, I'll start paying you monthly, take me to court, do this, do that." He could have did whatever he wanted to do. But I had
Yep.
a good feeling about this deal.
Yep.
But guess what he did for like 3 weeks, or it felt like 3 weeks. It was probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
Every time I made an appointment to have the docs notarized and signed, something came up. I have to work. My
Mhm.
wife has to work. Oh, Thanksgiving happened. And then,
Oh my
oh,
God.
someone died in our family. All right. But
Yeah.
he was always cool with me and thankful and everything else. We finally got it done. We
Oh,
just
that's good.
finally got it done. But I learned a huge lesson. What was the lesson?
Yeah.
No, the day we're going to pay the balance is the day prior, or that they're signing and getting everything notarized beforehand before we wire anything. So
Yeah.
that's the lesson.
So uh, David Call actually asked, "Who brought you that deal?" I'm assuming he's asking that for a reason.
Hey Dave, what's up, baby? Yeah, Dave works. We work together. I think it. I don't think it was you, Dave. I think I'm kidding. It was Dave.
That's awesome. So, and that's the great thing about having a network of people and where you can grab deals from other wholesalers, other people, things like that.
Well,
Me and
Dave's
you've
part
worked
of.
on several deals, so
Yeah, Dave's part of our team. So, like I said, I have two
gotcha.
local guys. Dave, I got another guy,
Yep,
and a couple. So we all work together. So, you know, but he's
that's
finding
awesome.
deals, and it works out really well.
Awesome. So now, do you have a? So I have either you can pick one of the two, or pick both. That's up to you. This is kind of where I asked somebody to describe or explain either the nightmare of a deal or the most profitable or most memorable of the deal.
Mm. It's funny with me, when I could tell you all the deals I got going on right now, but the second
Mhm.
it closes, I forget all about it. It's so weird. I don't know why. Um, all right, so let's see. Um, Man, yeah, you put me on the spot there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I
Didn't
could
mean to
tell
do
you,
that.
let me just, how about if I just tell you about a different type of deal? Everyone knows, or hopefully
That's
you know
fine.
we know what wholesaling is, right?
Yeah.
You get a deal, you get a deal in a contract, you get it at a deep discount. They
Mm-hmm.
sign a purchase agreement. Your purchase agreement says you can assign it to somebody else, and then you go find a buyer. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you might sell it to them for $5,000 or $10,000 more. It's still a good
Right.
deal, and
Mm-hmm.
then you assign it to them. It goes to closing, and the seller gets their 20, and you get your 10. All right.
Right.
Typical, costs you no money out of pocket, right? Just your
Exactly.
time.
Yep.
But not saying it's not hard work, but your time, and it costs money to do our business, but not
Yep.
out of pocket. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a deal. Dave probably knows this one too, but it's in Roseville. So it's going to auction on Friday of last week.
Mm-hmm.
$115,000. Okay, brick ranch on a nice block, clean. I mean, it needs some work, but
Mm-hmm.
vacant. So they're only $6,000 behind, or 6 or
Okay.
7. So we're trying. I got my attorney involved, and we're trying to get them to adjourn the foreclosure sale at least a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever they'll do. That we
Yeah.
want to reinstate the loan. And what we're going to do when we reinstate it is we were going to then start making the monthly payments, subject to, buy it
Mm-hmm.
subject to, make the
Yep.
month. And the sellers don't want no money. They said, just, you can have it. You can have the house. So even better yet. So
Yeah.
I want to buy it subject to, I'll make their $600 payment, includes insurance and taxes, and then I could clean it up and rent it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
rent it and make money at the end of the day. They rent for good money over there. It's
Right.
probably worth $170,000, and they owe 115. Went to the
Mm-hmm.
auction, and it went to, I couldn't get it adjourned. It sounded like we are going to get it adjourned. So now it's in foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in their 6 month redemption period here in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
and they owe 115. So they now they're gonna deed me the house, and
Mm-hmm.
either I'm gonna clean it up and throw it on the market for 150,
Mm-hmm.
or I could wholesale it. I could
Mm-hmm.
clean it up real nice and sell it for 165, 170.
Right.
So it doesn't it's not costing me any money, but I got 6 months. I could go live there for 6 months
Mm-hmm.
for free,
Speed is the game on that
you know.
because after that 6 months, you got no rights.
Oh, so all right. So now you just reminded me of a bad deal. So I had a deal, same situation, real quick, it only take 2 seconds. It was in
Yep.
Allen Park. We paid like $6,000 or $7,000 to the seller, and they deeded the house to us, and it's in their 6 month redemption.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We had about 10 flips going on at a time. This was one of them. And it took us too long to fix it, too long to get it listed on the market. And
Mm-hmm.
we put 25 grand into it. And plus we're in it for 6 or 7 thousand. And
Mm-hmm.
and then we put it up for sale, and it just sat on the market. This was a long time ago, before the market
Wow.
is the way it is now.
Yep.
So redemption's coming up. We either got to go borrow the money to buy it, or walk
Mm-hmm.
away from it. And I looked at the numbers and said, look, if we get hard money, we go buy it, it doesn't sell, we're just going to dig a deeper hole. So we walked away from it. So we ended up losing
Okay.
$30,000.
Holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
$30,000 just like that.
Just
That is
like that.
crazy.
Yeah. And that was probably 4 years ago, 4 years
Okay.
ago, maybe 5. I don't know.
So 2018, 2019,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's crazy. Now, yeah, that's really, really crazy. So I did not want to hear that. Sometimes I get these users
Yeah.
on YouTube. It's crazy. So, but anyways, so with that, have you learned a valuable lesson on that, right? Because you
Of
learn
course.
not to do as many deals as you were doing, right? You lose track of things.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's what killed us: time, speed.
Yeah.
and not paying attention, doing,
Yep.
yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
And
So,
sometimes you always got to run the numbers a few different ways. What if you just clean it up and throw it on the market? What can
yep.
you sell it for? How much money you'll make? How fast can you close it? What if you
Yeah.
put 5 or 6 or 7 thousand into it and sell it? Or what if
Hmm.
you fully flip it? At the end of the day, sometimes most of the time, fully flipping a house is not going to make you the most money. It's more satisfying because you
Yeah.
get a beautiful house, but it's a money business. So sometimes you gotta really. I learned that the hard way too. I always like cleaning it up,
Yep.
but especially now, anything with, or even during the flips, you could
Hmm.
sell a house because the market, people were making 70 offers on one house. So you could have a house that wasn't that nice and you still get a nice price for it.
Oh, 100%. It's what's called wholesale. So, and wholesaling is where you get a property under contract and you actually end up closing on it. So you actually bought the property, you fix it up, and then you basically, when you fix it up, it's not a fix and flip because all you're doing is really cleaning it out and maybe putting a little bit of elbow grease in there, and nothing really, maybe 5 grand to get some guys in there and clean it out, and then putting it back up on the market. I've seen some of these properties that, as long as it can pass an inspection for a conventional loan or an FHA loan or anything like that, then these buyers, they're like, they don't mind buying a house a little bit under full retail in order to get some sweat equity in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of investors. They want to
Hmm.
burr, and they'll buy houses at 70%.
Yeah.
So they pay. That's more. If they're buying a house and it's clean and you
Yep.
sell it, it's worth 100 and you sell it for 70,000. It's a
Hmm.
pretty good deal usually. But what
Oh, 100%.
so that's another way of grabbing these wholesale deals is what you said, Randy. Is instead of buying it though, like I got one in Wyandotte that
Hmm.
the guy's gonna 10 grand down, and I'm gonna pay him. I think it was 400. Yeah, 400 a month
Hmm.
for 12 months,
Okay.
and then balloon it out, no interest. And
Gotcha.
I told him, I said, look, for me to buy this, it needs too much work. I need to use my money to fix it so I could pay
Hmm.
you off. So I could go get a loan, or I might sell it. I might do this, I
Hmm.
might do that. But at the end of the day, I'll have you paid off in 12 months, maybe sooner. But
Yep.
I want that cushion.
Yep.
So there, all it cost you was 10 grand out of your pocket. Or if you could wholesale those deals all day long, you could get
Yeah.
someone else to give you 20 grand out of their pocket and take over that
Hmm.
400. You keep 10 and give him 10, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
or you do it yourself. So you know, you could pick and choose on how you do it, but it's that's one of the offers on a. If you join my mentoring group, you'll get the 3 option letter of intent when you learn it.
100%. So now with that, it's like I said, I'm really a favorable of the seller finance option, being creative in whatever you can do. So if you can think of it, you can put it in some sort of land contract, seller finance deal, however you want to put it, you know. And as wholesalers, we are here to solve problems. We are not here to force somebody to sell us their
You
house.
never do it. Yeah.
If price is the motivator for somebody, and that's the only motivator, we are not their buyers. That's just not going to happen, you know. So
Unless they give us the terms we want. You know,
exactly.
if you want 150,000, it could be worth a
Hmm.
hundred. Yeah, if you let me give you 5 grand down and pay you 400 a
Yep.
month till I pay it off, perfect. So it all depends on the situation at the end of the
Oh
day. So,
yeah. So now, what are you doing going forward? What do you see in your business moving forward? Like, where do you strive to be, and where do you want to be?
Um, that's a good question. I just want to, it, you know what? I always look at it this way. The more money, if my team is making a lot of money,
Hmm.
guess what? That means I'm making a lot of money. So the more my team does well, then I'm doing well. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
And that's where it's about. But I don't have like I want to do this many deals or that many deals. I just, you know, I do like cracking the code of, what? I like cracking the code of reaching these people. How, if I had a phone number for everyone that I try to call, it's so hard to get these people on the phone. So,
Yep.
that's the key, is trying to always get better and trying to contact these people, or different ways of contacting them. Because once we get them on the phone, you know, we can't force anyone to sell.
Hmm.
Right. We got to, they got to like and trust us, and we got to point them in the right directions and try to help them. And sometimes we're selling, sometimes we're getting their house,
Yep.
sometimes we're not. So, which is okay. They'll be your best
Hmm.
friend. They'll give you a good referral. All kinds of good stuff, even if you
Yep.
don't. But most of the time, you're going to buy their house.
Yeah. Now, I did have one other question. First off, before I ask that, anybody who's watching this, we have a lot of people watching this on my Facebook channel, and I really appreciate it. We're here to add as much value as we can in Metro Detroit off market real estate group. I really appreciate it. Trying to get as much value to you guys as possible. So that's the reason why I do this every single Monday at 8 p.m. Bringing different people on here, people like Todd, to give you guys value as much as possible. Now, with that being said, how are you explaining what you're doing to the seller? Are you saying that you're going to wholesale the deal? Are you like, I'm actually specifically asking about the longer deal. So, like, say you get it under contract for a price, and you're like, okay, well, it's not selling. You realize it's not selling, or it needs that special buyer, and it's just taking time. How do you handle those situations with the seller?
Sure. Yeah. So I never tell people I'm wholesaling a deal. Okay, unless there might be times where, say, for me to buy it, I might go. Let's say it's a junky house and they want
Hmm.
20 grand for it. Or no, it's not that junky. Let's say it's
Yeah.
going to be, I might be able to wholesale it. Okay.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough wholesale. And I can't get them under, let's say 15 grand. I can't get them under 15. And I said, for
Hmm.
me to buy this, I got to be at $7,000.
Hmm.
Would that work for you? They're going to say no all the time, right? If it does, then I'll get it under
Yep.
contract and I'll do it. I go,
Right.
but I know a lot of people. They call me every day. A lot of them are out of state. Some are out of the country. They love investing in Detroit. They have teams here. I'm part of their team, and they want me to find them houses, and they pay more than I do.
Hmm.
They're not going to pay 20, but if I could get you 15, would that work for you? Boom. Yes. Blah blah. We sign it up. So I
Gotcha.
already told them that I'm not the buyer right then and there. Now let's
Hmm.
say 30 days go by and we're not closing yet, and they're getting upset and this. I just say, you know what? I don't know what's going on. It's the
Hmm.
market, it's COVID, whatever's going on at that time you mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm telling you what, my partners on this deal, I've done plenty of deals way worse than this one. And we've done so many. I don't know what the problem. I think they're just afraid of what's happening right now with the market.
Yep.
If you give me a couple of days. I'm actually going to have a meeting with everyone tomorrow, and I'm going to really talk to them and try to figure this thing out, or whatever timeline. You want to make sure you don't want to really
Yeah.
try to talk them into anything different right now. You just
Hmm.
want to give them, okay, he's trying type of confidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So now I try to go find somebody at any price on this property. And let's say, look, I ain't buying this for 20,000. I gotta be at 13 or 12 or something like that. So I'm
Right.
at 15. So I'm gonna go back and just try to get anything. I'm gonna go back to him in a couple of days. I'm gonna say, listen, I sat down with my partner. I don't know if this is gonna work for us. If
Hmm.
we're gonna be able to get this done, the best I could get this done is at $10,000. If
Gotcha.
10,000 works, I already got them. We could get this thing done. If not, I completely understand. And if something changes down the road on my end or your end, we're
Hmm.
still friends. We could, blah, 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 blah. Right. So that's kind of the way I would approach something like that.
Hmm.
And as you start doing more deals, you're going to stay away from those shitty houses,
Yep.
because usually those are the ones that give you the most headaches, right? Or the ones you can't,
Yep.
unless you lock it up too high, and then you just got to renegotiate it and tell them, the same type of story. Look, let's say you're in Ferndale and you got it for 120, and all your offers are coming in at 100. Then
Hmm.
you just gotta let them know systematically that, look, my partner, I'm going to have a meeting with them
Hmm.
actually today's Monday. We're expected to meet tomorrow night. Is it okay if I call you at like 11 o'clock Wednesday? Would that work for you? Yes. Okay. All right. Perfect. I'm going to figure something out for you. Perfect. All
Gotcha.
right. Friday or Wednesday comes, set your alarm. Don't forget, call them. 11 o'clock, you
Hmm.
call them and say, all right, thank you so much. Sorry about, all this. And this is what we're coming up with. But market this, that, blah, blah, blah. The only way I could come up with that payment or come up with that amount is we got to do something more creative. And then you could go into
Hmm.
creative financing. And
Gotcha.
you could do 10,000, or you could do, you could lower it, a cash sale.
Yep.
Give them a couple options, let them decide. And if they don't want either one, you gracefully exit, right?
Yep. 100%. I think that's awesome. So explain it that way, and it being as transparent as you can without saying you're wholesaling, I think is the best way to be, you know. So um that's kind of the way I approach things, and I tell people I have different options, and if I were to buy it, I'd have to be way down here,
Yeah.
so and kind of go from there. But we all have different strategies on what we do and how we say things, and I think you have to you as a wholesaler have to come up with what works for you, you know? So, but I 100% believe that being transparent and then getting connected with somebody that knows more about the area than you do, so that you're not locking up deals all the way up here and you're not doing too many of those where you have to go back for a price reduction. You know, you don't want to do that in every single deal, right? You know,
Yeah.
how many deals, how many,
A lot of new wholesalers and out of state wholesalers, I'm looking at the prices they're selling them for,
yeah,
and they're not selling them. I mean, what they're asking,
yeah,
either they're, there's no way they're going to sell. And if you
yeah,
know the market, I mean, I could write down these and just call them in 30 days and go relock them up because they're going to fall out of contract. There's no way.
yeah.
So,
Like,
it's just, I don't
mhm.
know.
Yeah, like there's a few that I come across in Detroit. Like I get them on my email blast, and it's like it's in Detroit. All right. So automatically, because it's in Detroit, you need to be at a huge discount, right? You know? Um, and then on top of that, they're like, okay, I'll just use these numbers as an example. For one of them, ARV is $85,000. Okay, they're trying to sell it for 75.
Right. It's
They're
impossible.
like, they're like, it needs $5,000 worth of work. It never needs $5,000 worth of work, first off, you know. But then I go click on the pictures. I'm like, this needs more like 25
Right.
worth of work, and you're trying to get 75, and ARV is 85. I don't know who you think is going to pay that, but
Yeah.
nobody I know is will. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Yeah.
So even if their numbers were correct, and that's what I'm looking at. Look at your numbers that you even put out. Even if the numbers that you put out are correct, you still only had a $5,000 gap. You're going to eat up all of that just in real estate fees, you know?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, so I do have a couple more questions. Uh, Tracy Belinda asked, Berkeley and Ferndale used to be considered shitty neighborhoods once upon a time. How is Warren to you? So
Yeah. Well,
I'll let you answer that.
yeah, Berkeley, Ferndale, Hazel Park, all hipsters moved in, and they're still looking for more places to go to. But Warren, you we're looking at Warren today. Once you start getting, of course, Warren's huge. Warren's like the third or fourth largest city in Michigan. I heard
Yes.
anyway, so it's pretty big. Once you get north of 696, it's great, right? They're
Hmm.
expensive, everything else. Once you get, north of 9 Mile, you start getting some good prices, and also, but once you get between 8 and 9 Mile, it depends. I mean, it's still a good area, but it's more of a rental or lower, under 100 grand, 125 grand. A lot of them don't have basements; they have slabs. I call
Hmm.
those hillbilly houses, and but they're good rental houses, and they're in the last 2 years, people were fixing them. I was selling those like hotcakes to
Yep.
flippers, and they were fixing them up and making a ton of money. So it's a good market still, but now the market's shifting again. So we're going to see a lot, people right now. You, as a wholesaler, you're seeing people hoping they're mad because they missed the market, and they still
Hmm.
want that 130 when 130 a year ago was too much, but people were buying it.
Yep.
And now we just got to help them realize and show them what's going on, you know. But Warren's a good market.
Yeah, I think Warren's a really good market. The biggest thing is they're very strict on rentals,
Yeah.
going through their rental certifications, things like that. But as long as you can put up with that, and actually, that's where having a good property management company comes
Yeah.
in handy. So
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
that's where.
Yeah, because you might think you got to put 20 grand into a Warren house, and then the inspector might come through and just look at it and say, you know what, you got to update all the electrical in the house. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's
Mhm.
not even, it's 10 years old, and you have nothing you could do about it. And you got to do
Yep.
this and you got to do that. So they might give you an extra 10 grand worth of repairs that you didn't account for. So
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of people, Hazel, there's a lot of cities out here that, until you get to know somebody that knows somebody that, and they like you and things like that. But yeah, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Rental compliance is tough. Yeah.
And Sadhan, I think we just answered this question about the rental compliance. So, again, you got to get your city get them out there, see what they want you to do. Um, the best thing you can do for city inspector is get on their good side. Be as friendly as possible. If you have a chip on your shoulder, check that at the freaking door, man. I'm going to tell you that right now. You get on their bad side, you say one bad joke to them or whatever, like they can make your life hell. I've heard some horror stories on that, and it's because it's coming from people who, they're no nonsense type people. Whatever you do your thing. I'll take you to court. I'll do that. There's no fighting them. You know.
Yep.
So best
Yep.
thing you do is sell it after that. you know.
Well,
So yeah, so that's awesome. We're coming, we're at about an hour and 20. We're coming to an end. What's the best way that people can get on your buyers list, get on if anybody wants to see your inventory or anything like that, what's the best way for them to do
yeah.
that?
Yeah, the best way, you see my phone number to 313-329-7877. Best way is to text me. I
Hmm.
do have an inventory. I'm revamping the way I'm posting out my deals. So I'm working on that now. And if you went to my inventory list right now, you wouldn't, I don't even think I have one up there right now. So I'm doing it a
Okay.
totally different way. And revamping the way I have my buyers list, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, you will be getting a link from me, like a 10 questionnaire you could do on your phone. That's going to be so easy to do. And then I'm going to be able to put deals in front of you, the ones that you want to see, subject to land contract, seller financing,
Hmm.
different cities that you like, what you don't like, you will not see. So that's what I'm working on. And, so yeah, the
Gotcha.
313 to 329-7877 is the best number.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, definitely uh, get on Todd's list or get on, get on his buyers list, things like that. Now, question for you is, I guess it's just gonna be a quick question, is how are you dealing with the relationships with the buyers? Like, how are you building those relationships?
Um, how do I build my relationship with the buyers?
Yeah,
You know,
and then how do you find your buyers as well?
yeah, a couple of things. I go to all the meetups. I talk
Hmm.
to, I'm always out there. There's all kinds of ways. You go to the foreclosure auctions, you're going to meet a bunch of buyers.
Okay.
Okay. But the biggest key is, especially, this is one of the things that when I was brand new, I wish I would have did, is you got to stay organized with your buyers list.
Hmm.
I probably have 1,000 buyers that I've forgotten over the last 6 years that I wish I would have known today. So you got to
Hmm.
stay organized. You either got to always be out in front of them, and we can't do it physically. So you got to be smart about it. You got to maybe have your VA send them an email or a text message or something like that. And
Hmm.
once in a while, so, but you got to know what they want. That's the key is when you go inside a house and you already know which one, two, three, four buyers are going to buy that property. How great
Hmm.
is that?
Oh
So
yeah.
you already know you got it. So, but sometimes if you have really good buyers, they could come to the appointment with you and tell you
Hmm.
what they'll pay for it so you can negotiate it right then and there. So that is the best, being organized with your buyers, knowing who buys what, if they're buying
Hmm.
rentals, if they're buying flips, if they're buying suburbs, Detroit, Pontiac,
Yep.
Inkster, Ecorse, Flint, the lower price neighborhoods or not. Either they love
Hmm.
it or they hate it.
Right. Gotcha. And on that, I'll do a quick shout out to, if you are in the Metro Detroit area, come out and see Renegades. Renegades is actually tomorrow night. It's the first Tuesday of every month, and it's usually at Shields in Southfield. So they do have a Facebook page. So go on there and look at their events. But that's just one of the events that you need to go to as well. There's a bunch of local RIA meetups going on. So
Yep.
awesome, you know. So on this here, appreciate you, Todd, coming on here.
Thanks,
I
man.
really appreciate everyone who's stayed this long. You know, coming out here and spending time with us and learning. And keep in mind, if you have any questions, oh, one more thing, everybody who's out here on Facebook, come to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also see all the prior live events that we've done. They're all on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and you know, watch them over there if you feel like it. You know, hopefully everyone has a great day and have a great week, and let's all do deals together, man. All
Thanks,
right.
Randy. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
See you tomorrow, man.